We're going on live any minute now. We're going on live any minute. Okay, very good afternoon to all of you. We go on our, I think, 6th or 7th session on understanding the ministry, and I now want to invite Brother Ivan Chan, a master in the shofar, to open the meeting to change the atmosphere with the blowing of the shofar. Hallelujah and praise the Lord. And I believe that with the shofar, the atmosphere has changed. Welcome you all again. Good afternoon. Although there are a few of us here, but some are actually watching on live, and a few hundred more will be viewing. So we are now on the 7th leg of our series, where this time we are focusing on the ministry. And today we have a master trainer in the form of Pastor Stephen Low, who comes from the south in Johor Bahru. He's a corporate professional management consultant, and he wears multiple hats and is active in the Hagai national, international level, as well as a pastor at heart. And yeah, praise the Lord. I will ask Pastor Thomas to help me monitor, and also I'll make brother in a moment co-host. Yeah. Okay, so he wears many hats, and of which has been also a pastor, a shepherd's heart for many decades, continues to do so tirelessly. And of course, his passion to win souls has led him to be a trainer, teacher, facilitator for evangelism with the Evangelism Explosion Malang Group, as well as with Hagai. So with that, welcome, Pastor Stephen. So welcome from someone from down south.
Thank you.
The royal state of Johor.
Thank you for your...
How long have
your...
you been a trainer, teacher, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I think that must be a long time. I also forgotten how long I was in this position. Yeah, actually, when I when I start working at the same time involving church, I find that that is my passion. Yeah, because a lot of time we listen to message, we listen to what people tell us and teach and so on, and we find that a lot of time the teaching is basically, the preaching are actually drifted away. Yeah, people, people listening to the message, which is very well prepared. And most of the time, the messages are very well prepared. I think it is very well crafted. Yeah, during the time when I was still a young Christian, but then we don't see much change in the congregation behavior or the way they serve. So I find that something is amiss. Yeah, so because of that, I got involved with youth. That was, I think, in early 1980s. I came to the Lord in about 1981. And then after that, I start attending church and also involved. But then it is also dawned on me that because I'm trained as an engineer, I'm trained as a metallurgist, yeah. You know, in order to do a profession, we spend so much time and effort and studies, yeah, as well as going through a lot of evaluation, exam and tests, and also practical training and laboratory training before we can actually become one. Yeah. So that coupled with my experience with the churches and so on, that leads me wanting to, instead of just preach, also going into more of a training positioning. Yes. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
So
I
that
think
is how I got involved with community
fantastic.
outreach.
So I think you have actually hit the nail on the head in the sense that this is my next point, that hearing a sermon, a good sermon, and many good sermons doesn't seem to be enough. Likewise, seminars have their useful point. Going for camps and conferences also got useful point. But I now
Yes.
begin to realize something special about training. So maybe you want to emphasize what is so special about training as compared to just listening to a sermon or seminar or camp and conference. Why training is so
You raise
important?
up a very good question. Yes, yes. You raise up a very important questions, and it is a very deep questions. Yeah. It is a question that people are searching for answers, hundreds of years or maybe thousands of. Yeah, it is working on that. Basically, if you look at overall preaching, most of the preaching are actually done quite professionally, passionately, as well as compassionately. You know, a lot of preaching are actually done from the heart, from what I heard. Yeah, as well as teaching, teaching classes. You know, in the classroom environment whereby maybe you have hundreds, or even in a class of 30 or 40s. Yeah, whereby the knowledge are being imparted. However, this knowledge, what we have imparted or what we have received, how to translate this knowledge into something that is practical, is something that we are always struggling, right? You see, we can hear a very good message, as some of the experts say, yeah. If we only hear it, after 2 weeks, we may only retain 5%, right? If we hear it and see it, we may retain something like about 10%. But if we hear it and see it, at the same time we do it, we may retain something like about 30%. But if let's say we hear it, we listen to it, we see it, we do it, while at the same time we practice it, it may retain up to 75%. And that impact is very huge, because in preaching, teaching, as well as in this classroom environment, it is very difficult for us to experience what is actually the teaching is all about. What we want to do is not only just teaching as well as preaching, but we want to enhance it further, right? In order to enhance it further, that means we are actually bringing the preaching and the teaching in that subject into something that is becoming a training of a certain set. Training is basically one of the main thing about training is about transformation. Training is about transformation. There's a goal attached to it. There's an objective. Yeah, the objective is to change. It must effect change. So in order to effect change in the training, there are a few criteria that is necessary, right? There's a few criteria. And these few criteria are something what I call the 5 I's, right? The 5 I's of training that can effect a change in the person. And this one I also experienced myself because I have been doing all these things year. The first I is actually information. It becomes informative, right? So we in training, we also want to impart knowledge, right? Impart knowledge, informative, not just any information, but it's information regarding certain subject, and it is so
You're breaking up. First is information. Yeah, okay.
it sounds so nice, right? And I was presented a sofa. Somebody gave me a sofa a long time ago, But until now, there's no voice because the person who present to me the sofa gave me an instruction notes. Give me an instruction notes, yeah. Oh, you must blow in a certain way. Your mouth must be like that. But he didn't teach me. Yeah, he didn't train me. So until today, the sofa
Yeah, we'll get Brother Ivan to teach us on the shofar.
Somewhere. Yes. So I need Brother Ivan now to come and teach me, right? So the teaching is not just in the classroom. Yeah. Oh, let us go for page number what, you read the whole book, you go for exam, and you will know how to do. No, it's not like that. So we need a workshop. We need somebody to do that, to impart not only just the information, but to inspire me to do. Wow, just now when I heard from Ivan, I was inspired. I must pick up my shofar again, and go and do it. Go and physically go and do it. Or probably I may want to ask Ivan, hey Ivan, can you come and teach me, right? So it is not only just inspiring, but it is also instructional. So I need the instruction from Ivan, right? How to blow this shofar, and not only just blow the shofar, also the tones, all right, and the music of the shofar. And what does it mean? So it is both informative, instructional, and inspiring, right? And at the same time, and it also be intentional. The intentionality is that I want to tell Ivan, say for example, 3 months, I would like to blow this shofar. And not only just to blow it alone, I want to make it in the way that it become worshipful. Yeah, like just now when Dr. Timothy said, change the atmosphere, change the environment, change the predicaments, the situations, right? So there is something that we want to achieve, right? So it has to be intentional. And the next one, the last one, is it must be innovative, right? So training is different. For example, because I'm older, so the way of teaching me could be different from the way you teach the young people. Yeah. So you teach the young people, they may be more easier, right? But for me, I may take a little bit more time. I may take a different style, and different ways of learning. So it has to be innovational. So you see, in terms of training, there are so many factors that are involved. Instead of just preaching and teaching, which is much more straightforward in communication, in the crafting of the letters, in the words, and also the narratives as well as the rhetoric ways of presentation. But this one, you require to be intentional, to be informative, to be inspirational, to be instructional, and to be innovative.
Is there a sixth one? We've got 5 there.
The sixth one I put here, initiate change, right?
Initiate change.
Initiate the change, Yeah. So that 3 months later, wow.
So I've sat in your classes, and one of the things is that we find we can pay attention for the 1 hour or 2 hours of your teaching. And for some sermons, some teachers, we lose interest after a while. So maybe now you want to tell us and the others, what's the essence in a trainer to catch the attention of the audience and to get them to participate and to get them to be involved. So what are your ways? I think
Very
all of us
good.
can
Thank
learn
you very
how to be a trainer. That
Yes.
means.
Yes. Fantastic. And this is actually a skill that everyone have to learn now. Everyone will get it. I think one of the things when I actually do training or workshop, training workshop, is I try to be as personal as possible, right? So I'm not only personal, I'm personally engaged with my audience, right? I find ways, I look at them, I have eyes contact with them. I hope, I always try to encourage the audience to have direct interaction with me. So it is not only just a one-way communication. It becomes a two-way communication. Sometimes the communication not necessarily is verbal. Yeah, sometimes it is non-verbal. Like for example, eye contact, right? Relaxed demeanor. Yeah, you are relaxed. You're confident. You are there with them. I think the main essence is that I have this energy that I want to be with them. Yeah, to be enthusiastically with them. Yeah, energetically to be with them. I think this is like this is very influential. Yeah, the moment when you have the energy to be with your group of people, and you begin to be personal, tell your stories, your narratives. People tends to want to react, want to interact, and want to listen, right? And when they listen as well as interact with me, yeah, I always listen very, and at the same time very intentionally. I want to listen to them. What is their voice, right? So I'm giving every one of them a voice the moment when they speak up, and I respect that voice that tell me instead of just shut them aside. Yeah, and I think this is also part of the things that we need to learn during the way we train. I find that even in sermon as well as even in preaching and teaching, we can actually do that kind of interaction as well. The personal connectedness with the audience, right? So they are not only just passive, it is active, it's an active movement, active energy flowing within the classroom. Yeah. Yeah. So the enthusiasm, the encouraging atmosphere, as well as giving everyone an eager expectancy, right? They expect something more. What else? It is just like we watch a movie, we watch Star Trek, or we watch Star Wars. There's a difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. Yeah. When you look at the Star Trek, things move so fast and change, right? Suddenly the scenes change, and then it builds up again. Your expectancy, you want to know what is happening. Yeah. And so I think when we come to training workshop, yeah, we want to move everybody together with us in the flow. So people must be in the flow with us, right? And at the same time, I think there's another thing. There's one more thing that's very important. Everybody come to the training room or come to the room to learn. They have a certain expectancy, certain expectations, right? They have a certain goal or end that they want to achieve, and we have to give them that. Yeah. So we have to train and do the workshop, or giving them the particular information or skill set that they're expected to know. So we are doing it with the end in mind, right? Yeah.
I noticed that in the secular world, people are prepared to pay 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 for a weekend training on certain things.
Yes.
Do you think in the Christian world, because they always get it free, so they are not so committed? And that's one question. The other point is, do you think 1 day enough, 2 days, or 2.5 days, or 3 days? What is the optimum period for training?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, actually, this question have no answer. Yeah, many years ago, I went with my son to Kuala Lumpur to attend a training called work performance training, performance system training. I've been out of work for many years already. Actually, I have already retired from my professional work. But once in a while, I still go and learn something new, yeah, because that will just excite me. So I go with my son to learn this. And I paid $8,000, yeah, for a
8,000.
4-day program. Yes,
Wow.
4-day program. Actually, yeah, we're talking about 4 days, it's not full 4 day, add on together, it's actually less than 20 hours of learning, less than 20 hours. But we paid $8,000 for it. So in my mind, I was thinking, and after the training, basically, whatever thing that I learned is not something new. It's something that I've already using it long time ago. In fact, I have innovated a system which is almost exactly the same, but with a different twist to my own particular situation that I need. So just imagine if we were to do 4 days training in the church, and we said $1,000 you to pay, will people come? Will people come? I also I never try. Some of the training that we have are $300 per for 9 sessions. Also, not many people come. People also say that it's expensive. I think I think that the psychology is that every time when we come into the church, we expect free. We expect grace. God gives grace free. This must be free. Second,
For the business
I think
world,
there's so many training available in the church now, right? So
I think on that basis, I
yes,
feel
you go ahead.
Cannot be free lah. Training cannot be free. Somebody has to pay for it lah, I feel. In the business world, there are some people who prepare to pay $20,000 for a weekend with a famous person. But that is going on towards mentoring a bit.
Yes.
So you mentioned that they come with expectation. That means these are special people who want to come for the training. So now my other question is, do you think there should be a pre-training screening? You don't want someone who is not prepared. Or anybody also can come in.
Very good question.
From zero.
Yes, this is another very good. Yeah. You see, in all the training, whether high or EE, evangelism explosions, or I also run another course called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. I find that those people who actually learned and those really learned are those who really come with a need, right? They want to come, they want to know, they want to study, they're really very keen of doing. But for those who are not, normally after a couple of hours, you see the lethargic as well as the tiredness in their heart or in their eyes, right? So I find that what you say is true, Dr. Timothy, is that I think it is better to do a pre-screening, right? And or maybe an interview, as well as possibly not only just an interview, at the same time state what are the effects of the training. What are the effects if you are not being trained? Yeah, just as the church, what are the effects if there's no training or equipping of the saints in the church? And what about us personally? What if we are not being trained? Can we do the job, or can we do what we want effectively? So I think there must be a certain amount of what we call soul searching or heart searching. Yeah.
So the church talks a lot about discipleship. But I've been to 7 churches. I don't remember any church that has, let's say, the three times a year training program. For example, the good disciple, or the cell leader, or evangelism. They seem to depend on others, or parenting, or healthy marriage. There may be one or two seminar conferences, but there's no. These are things should be in every church, isn't it?
Yes.
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 Training.
You are
And
absolutely right. You can.
yeah. Of course, the method Jesus trained was mentoring, that they follow him, But in your opinion, how long does it take for a person to be a trainer, or what sort of program?
Oh, okay. I think for the church training, the program should be needs based, right? First of all, we have to sensitive to our own church. What are the needs actually required? For example, I just put my own church and my own situation. I've been doing this training in the churches all over the place. I think in KK, and also now in Johor. Whenever
Your voice is breaking up.
and then find out what are the needs that is lacking. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, can you repeat about your training in different
Can
places?
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think the bandwidth is a bit low, so
Okay.
try now.
Yeah. That's right. It's a bandwidth. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Better now.
Good. Good. So in my own situation, where I talk to people, I began to see what are the necessary things to do, right? For example, in our church, we do also, we do evangelism explosion training. Why? Because I asked them, since when any one of you brought anybody to Christ through personal evangelism, through personal witnessing, and at the same time talk to person with the gospel clearly as well as confidently. And they said, wow, no, I don't know how to present it nicely. So because of that, okay, we get a group of people in the church and we say, okay, we're going to do this training. Yeah. Then we get a group of people and start doing that program, right? Whether it is 6 times or 8 times, 8 hours or 21 hours, depending on the availability of the time, as well as how deep they want to go. So the depth of the training, as well as the needs of the person, right, or of the group. So I think we have to be very, very sensitive to the needs of the people, right? Secondly, once we know their needs, right, then we are able to come up with a program like what you mentioned, about parenting, about parenting. I have a group of Chinese people over here. Yeah, most of the mothers are actually come over here from China together with their children, and they do what we call, they are here to accompany their children. The children go to school, but they look after them. Now, what is the issues at stake? The issues at stake is always either parenting as well as how to take care of the children, right? So because of that, I did the arts of parenting with them. I use the material called shepherding the hearts of the child with them, and I've gone through with them much more than just that. Now I went through with them about 15 weeks, right? 15 weeks. Within that 15 weeks, we give them information, we give them instruction, we do role play, and at the same time we we get the children, we get all this role play together. And then at the same time, also teach them communication, how to talk to children, how to resolve conflicts, yeah, and how when the relationship is distance. Yeah, so it is not only just information, but it is also a practical outworking. The outcomes, the whole thing actually motivated because that these parents required it. That's why we do it. Yeah. So I think in about 1 month's time, we're going to do another course for the arts of marriage. Again, also because there's certain marriage is on the brink, so we want to bring this up so that the whole church, people who are involved, they are able to learn. Yeah. So all the training courses in the church that we do are what we call need-based. Whereas discipleship, yeah, just now you mentioned discipleship, I like that, because all the while we have been doing discipleship training in the church. Yeah, one thing is that we want to make sure that the church members who come to the church, they are disciples of Jesus. And we want to disciple them correctly, biblically, as well as outworking of the life of a disciple within their own circles or within their own life. Right? Yeah, we do discipleship around the year. Yeah, so we finish one course, then we get in new people, we start all over again, and then we ask them to do. So the first time is I disciple them, yeah, teaching them to do. Second one is they find their own disciples, and together with me, we do together. And the third one is they do it, yeah, and then we review over times.
So it seems that training is a very weak area. Many churches, they lack trainers. They don't have training programs, and they're more dependent on self-development plus the sermon and whatever happens in the cell group.
Yes,
but
yes.
Unfortunately, we cannot go beyond that in this aspect. But maybe at some point, since you are one of the trainers, that maybe there should be a program to train trainers for the churches. I think that would help in the future. No? Training the trainer.
Yes.
Maybe you can develop a module either on Zoom or better on site. I see this as a very important way that we can transmit character development, ability to be parenting and marriage issues, and of course, evangelism. So now we move
Yes.
to your favorite topic, evangelism. Why is it so difficult that 90 or 95% of people are not sharing the good news? You are a trainer. What is the reason?
Wow, this is another very important question that all of us need to know. Yeah. Sometimes, every time when I go to do this training, as well as even in Haggai training for evangelism, I always ask people one question, right? Who is Jesus to you? Is he Savior or is he Lord? Or what? Or what else? And I get all kind of diverse answers. Yeah, some of the answers are, oh, he is my healer. He has provided for me. Oh, he gave me life. He saved me. So he is my savior. But very seldom people take Jesus as Lord. Very seldom people take Jesus as Lord. Now, Jesus in our lives, either he is Lord of all, is not, or he is none at all. Right? This is what my stand is all about. If Jesus is Lord of all, then we are able to surrender our whole lives to him. If we are able to surrender our lives to him, and we want to know him, then the next things that is impressed upon our hearts and give us that kind of inspiration is we want to know him more in order to make him known. We will want to know him and want to make him known. It's just like this. I give you an analogy. I love Musang King. Do you love Musang King? Told Timothy. Yes. If you find a store in PJ which sell Musang King very genuinely, and every time when you buy, it give you the best and good service, and everyone that open up is the best. Would you tell your friends? You will, right? You will definitely tell your friend. That's it. You will not keep it to yourself, right? Similarly, if we have tasted the goodness of Christ, and we know that the goodness of Christ is in our life through our experience, through our understanding, as well as deep in our hearts, take Him wholeheartedly, loving Him wholeheartedly, loving Him with our soul, our mind, and our heart. We definitely want to make it known. And the reason why we don't make it known, there are a few things, there are a few possibilities. One possibility is that He is my Savior. I have got a ticket to heaven. That's it. Enough. I have enough. I'm fully satisfied, Yeah, so there's no equation next. Yeah. Second, I want to tell, but I don't know how. I don't know how, right? So I don't share with people. And third, we have another policy that is in our mind all the time. I share the gospel, use action through my life, And so people see me how I live. They will automatically go to church, they automatically knowing Jesus. Yeah, that is a real policy. And so a lot of people think, I think there's one sentence, somebody said like this: we must preach the gospel, if necessary, by words. Have you heard this sentence before?
Saint Francis Assisi, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now, what is the problem in this sentence? What is the problem in this phrase? We must preach the gospel, if necessary, by words, which means that all of us, we were lazy to tell, we just live our life, Yeah, of course, we live a very good life, but the Buddhists also live a very good life, Yeah, those who are Taoists, who are very close, who practice what we call 修养, 修炼, they also have very good life. Now, who is who now, right? Gospel is to gospel. That's why Paul says, pray for me that I can openly open my mouth to share the gospel, to proclaim it clearly. So I think this is something that we need to learn, to proclaim it clearly. And so in order to proclaim the gospel clearly, we really need to learn. Right? We really need to learn. So evangelism explosion, when I got to know this methodology, we can say that it is methodology, but nowadays it becomes part of my lifestyle. Is that it gives us a very comprehensive as well as holistic way to present the gospel. Yeah. First, we make friends. After we make friends, then we present the gospel step by step, right? So that people can understand by simple words. So I from the evangelism explosion, I derive in five
Your voice is breaking up again.
simple to understand. Oh, breaking out again. Okay. Can you hear me?
It's getting a bit soft, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now, better now.
I think it is the internet. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. So looks like it's a great challenge to make a person a true disciple, follower of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think the trainer has a very major role. Yeah. It looks like the shepherd or the pastor is looking
Right,
after the
right.
flock, just looking after them. But the teacher and the trainer has to take them the next level. So maybe we can conclude that every church needs more trainers. Yeah, we need an explosion of trainers. Yeah.
Yes.
So we look forward to.
I think some of the pitfalls. Yeah.
Look forward to your training the trainer. Maybe get a group to train. Very important. So
actually, I'm writing out a small booklet.
Okay.
I'm writing out a small book about training and equipping. It's a simple to read the booklet. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, for those who know, under the human resource, there's a very big budget for training, and it's a very big industry actually for the training in the corporate world. Maybe then it is a commitment for the churches. If they can't do the training, they must set aside funds to train their leaders. So that I think seems to be lacking. That means that every church should send their leaders for different training and to equip them. And of course, there needs to be some funding or something. Yeah. Maybe at this point,
Yes.
I want to pass to you any points you want to say how we can extend the kingdom better, how we can build up the faith, because in these end times, our faith may become cold and fall away, and we may not think it's possible, but apostasy can happen. So as a trainer, how do we strengthen the person's faith? Maybe you can share a bit on that.
Okay. For me, I want to look at it in two different aspects, two different aspects. The first aspect is that today a lot of churches find it very difficult to find another generation of people whereby there is a continuity of legacy, the continuity of legacy. So we have to think about how to outsource, pastors, outsource church leaders, and things like that. Yeah. So one of the major pitfalls of no training and equipping in the church is that first we lost the legacy. We don't know where to continue, right? We don't have people to continue. Second, for pastors and leaders of the church, if we don't want to get burned out and just do ourselves, then we must really train and equip people, right? So that there is always a team of leadership come together. And this team of collaborative leaders are able to take on different burdens together, right? Share the burdens together also. Then you find that as a leader, you're not lonely just up there. A lot of leaders are very lonely. And after that, when they have something in their hearts, they don't know who to share to. Right? But in a collaborative leadership where train and equip, then you are able to share the burden as well as share the load together. Third, the leaders equip, members serve. Yeah? This is my slogan all the time. Leaders equip, members serve. And so
what members, leaders equip members, we missed that.
Serves. Members serve.
Members serve, yeah.
Yeah. Many times the leaders, we think that we are servant. Of course, we are servant, right? But does the servant serve all the time? Yeah, you will be running out of time. You will be running out of resources. You will be running out of energy, right? So we equip members to serve, so that we can tip the Pareto ratio. A lot of people is in the corporate world. It's a Pareto ratio. 80% of the people are served by 20% of the people. Now, in your church, will we want our sheep as well as those people who come into our church just grow as a sheep all the time, are being served all the time? No, we want to make them useful, right? We want their lives. We want to find their own, they have their energy themselves. Yeah, so we really need to move them, equip them so that they are able to serve together with us, right? And fourthly, very important, if we are not trained and equipped them to serve, their spiritual growth will be stunted. At the same time, there will be stagnation also, right? They also stagnate at the same time. And under this kind of situation, the church eventually will lose the dynamic of moving. You talk about evangelism, you talk about other things, you talk about ministries and so on. It will be just a few people, right? or it may be just the leadership of the church alone. Yeah, it may become very tragic. Yeah. So in order to farm a group of people, yeah, then we really need to equip and train. Now, the other thing is the essence of training. If we want to train this group of people, we say, oh goodness, how are we going to train? They are not even qualified. They are not seminary trained. They don't have Bible teaching, knowledge and things like that. So we need to train them spiritually, in skill, in knowledge, attitudes of heart, and at the same time also allow them to fail sometimes, right? The essence of training is actually we are able to accept allow them to make errors, allow them to make mistakes, so that eventually they build up the confidence. Many a times when people make mistakes, we feel it with horror. We don't know how to accept them, right? And then we start sideline them or cold storage them. Yeah. So this is something that I think the dynamics of this training and acceptance, giving them the confidence, allow them create an easy passageway, so that they won't have this emotional baggage of failure, shame, humiliation, and at the same time, what I call imposter syndrome. They feel like they're not good enough all the time. So all this we have to really grapple with it. Taste into our training. Yeah. Allow God's grace to operate fully in our training.
Yeah. So for the audience on YouTube, they are going to watch.
Does it answer you?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just summarize for the audience that have been watching us the past 45 minutes. We have been talking about training that goes beyond just teaching, because we know the deficiencies that if you just give a sermon or a seminar or just go to a camp or conference, we cannot sort of ensure the product is in terms of a good disciple or evangelist is there. So Pastor Stephen Low has been talking on training, and it seems across the board, this has been a general weak point in all churches, whether in training or even in mentoring. We haven't covered mentoring, but I also don't see any church where they delegate, let's say, half the senior 1/3 members of the church to mentor the junior 1/3 members of the church. There doesn't seem to be a journeying together. Of course, the cell leaders will look after their own flock and so on. But I think mentoring is quite close to training. Mentoring is a more long process. And therefore, I think from what you are saying is training is not just a one weekend thing. It's an ongoing thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The more we talk of it, the more terrified I am, the more devastated I feel about the state of the church in general, where we are dependent on the pastor and one elder, and the rest of the flock are just floating here and there. So I now see no wonder the sheep are jumping from camp to camp, going around and around looking for food to eat. Yeah. So Pastor Stephen, can you give us some hope? The more I think of it, I just feel it's so hopeless a situation, because every meeting I go, I ask how many have led more than 10 to the Lord. Nobody picks up their hand. So can you give us some hope? Maybe you must have training weekend every weekend or every other weekend. How many training sessions you have per year?
Oh, many. I'm round the clock. I haven't stopped. Yeah.
So
Normally,
the problem is we don't have enough of trainers like you.
Yeah. This is my passion. That's the reason why, because I just wanted people to not only just train in terms of skills to serve in the church, but at the same time training out skills as for their own spiritual growth. So at the same time, I think all of us are learners. None of us are perfect as well as expert. Yeah. So when we train people, we ourselves also being trained at the same time. Yeah. So what I always think is that if you have not got any training ground or any equipping workshop, all these things done, just start one step at a time. Yeah. Start a very simple one. I did something very simple in one of the churches that I did. We started basic foundation for discipling. 8 weeks or 6 weeks, basic disciple, basic relationship building. Yeah. So something very simple that people can just go, oh, only 6 weeks. Yeah, people can commit, right? A short time. And after that, I go for longer. Like now, I have one discipleship class that go on for about 50 weeks, right?
How many weeks?
And but because people already used to it, 50, 50,
50,
because
1
people already
year.
get used to it, 1 year. Because why? They know that it's not a short-term thing. It is a long-term transformation, right? But then we have to start small. Start with the small steps, right? Yeah. One person says is journey of 1,000 miles start with one step. One step. So we just need to put out one small step, not just do one, right? Now, will everybody come into your training class? No. The answer is definitely no. So you just choose those who are willing to train and start a class. Start a small class in your church. Other people will come and ask you, what start? How can you take me? So eventually they will also want to be in that class. So you continue to
I feel that
yeah.
if you're doing
Now
50 weeks, you must give them a diploma or certificate. After 50 weeks, at least they get some good certificate or diploma.
that's very good.
What's the dropout rate?
Yes.
What is the dropout rate?
Yeah. Some of the okay, it all depends. It all depends. This is very interesting, Dr. Tim. Just how you talk about pay, right? You must pay. You must pay for the course. Those who pay for the course, the dropout rate is very small. Those that give you free, that give free, the dropout rate is very high. Yeah. So make them pay. Make them pay. Yeah. There's a group that we make them pay, but eventually whatever they pay us, we actually give them back. We give them back in terms of resources, books, right? And tea times, right? Snacks, things like that, and certificate and graduation. We have graduation, right? And give them certificate, like what Tim said. Yeah. So all this, right? So we encourage in this way and encourage continuity at the same time. Yeah.
I suppose another way to train is to align them with the existing programs, existing theological schools, so many in the country, like Tyrannus, whether to ride along.
Yes.
Maybe that's where every church should sign up for some training. Are you involved with BSF? Do you know
Yes.
about BSF?
Yes. I'm involved with BSF for the past 7, 8 years already.
So I don't know about BSF. Maybe can you tell us their story, how good it is in terms of Bible training for BSF?
Okay. Of all the Bible studies materials that I've gone through, or Bible studies that I've gone through, I think BSF offer a very comprehensive studies. That's the reason why I was involved. Yeah. And then I'm still involving. I'm the group leader even right now. Tonight I have a sessions on. Now we are doing book of Revelation now. Actually, one thing good about BF is that, first of all, through the questions that is given, right, it actually guide you through your own studies. So first, you do your second, after the studies, and you come to the
Your voice is
among in the
breaking.
group, right? We have a group of about 14, 15 brothers together. Yeah, we have a group about 14 people coming together, right? So and then the next one, after discussion, then we listen to the lectures. We listen to the lectures regarding the same topic, same chapter. And then after that, we read the materials given. So it is what we call 4-4 studies. By the time the 4-4 studies ended, you understand the topic very well, right? You understand the subject. And then at the same time, the questions given, a lot of them are what we call reflective and application questions. So they help to reflect what the passage is all about and what can we learn from there. How do we apply it in our lives? Yeah. So that will give us a very deep impression of what the subject matters is all about. And at the same time, because BSF is done by a group of theologians, a very big group of people, so that theologically they are very sound. In fact, yeah, they don't take side of which, it is interdenominational. At the same time, the material are very sound.
So we have been covering training, and I think the take-home message is let's go back to school. Let's go back to training school. All of us.
Yes.
Do you think what is your best age group? Are they you prefer young teenagers, young adult? Is anybody too old? Yes, this is your last comment. We want to know who is the best group for training? Anyone too young or too old?
After going through all this, I find that there's no too young or too old. Oh yeah. Just to give you an example, my son and my grandchildren, one of them is 5 years old. Today he's in the BSF class. Right? And last year, I think early this year, my grandson, who is 7 years old, through BSF class, accepted the Lord.
Wow.
In the BSF class. It's not too young, no, yeah. A lot of people say, 5 years old, 4 years old, how come? You go through this. Actually, it is good. Because the Bible also tells us that, train them when they are young. So when they are old, they won't forget the Lord. And how old is too old? One of my evangelism explosion class participant who come into my class, you know how old? He is 100 years old.
Wow.
100 years old, right? And during the time when we do this training, there's one particular class, all of them are above 85 years old, 85 to 100 years old. And a lot of people tell me, Stephen, don't waste time. They cannot remember, they cannot do anything. Not true. During the class, they brought so many of their friends about this age to Christ. See? So it is not too old, it's not too young. Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Which age is
So thank you very much. We come to the close of this session on training. And in most sessions, I get inspired, encouraged, and overjoyed. But this session has made me very sad. Not because our speaker didn't cover it well, but it reveals the truth that there's so much lacking, that we can be a member of a church for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And one thing we learn very good is how to warm the seat, rather than being trained that after 5 years, anyone should be a teacher, should be evangelist, should be pastoral, should be a trainer. So with that, I hope this message will go through. I do not know how, that every church must have regular training program. And the Christian must go back to school, go back to learning. And after learning, we must apply it. So I want to thank Pastor Stephen Low. We have opened the Pandora box. I hope that through this session, somehow we have more training sessions. What's important is training the trainer. And then from there, there's so many areas where the parenting, marriage, whether evangelism, whether discipleship, whether hospital visitation, and one big area I'm very interested, Brother Sebastian is here, is on healing and deliverance, which we are so lacking. With that, thank you very much. Sorry, there's no time for Q&A. And thank you all for attending. And I pray this training message will go through the whole of the country and the rest of the world. Thank you, Pastor Stephen. Thank you, Brother Ivan. Brother Ivan, if you want to blow the shofar, you can, just to close the atmosphere and seal our hearts for the Lord. Thank you all for coming. The Lord bless you. Amen. Yes, Brother Ivan.